Hello and welcome to Happy Cells and Souls. My name is Julie Powers and I'm a licensed Zumba instructor and I'm an affiliate with the Juice Plus company. And my missions in life are to inspire healthy living around the world and to help people understand that life is better when they're dancing through it. But my expanded mission is to create better health at the cellular level and more joy at the cellular level. Because we only get one body while we're here on earth, and we need to be happy and joyful while we're here and spread that to everyone we come in contact with. And over the years of my life, I've had the honor and privilege of getting to know so many different people from all different walks of life. And I believe that if our minds are open and our hearts are open, we can learn from everyone because everyone has a story to share. And that brings us to these conversations here in this Happy Cells and Souls group that I get to talk to people and find out a little bit more about their story and how is it that they get to bring so much light and love and joy into the world and impact others. And today's conversation is with my friend Ashley Martin. And Ashley, we met like 5 years ago. You're a young mom. You have these beautiful children and a wonderful husband. And we got to know each other just because you popped into a Zumba class. But you were also at that time entering a phase of life where you were really starting to get involved with CrossFit. And so first, I would love for you to just kind of introduce your family. Tell us, how old each of your kids are, because I know that they are also interested in living a healthier life and, getting their bodies to be active. And kids do what they see their parents do, right? And so tell me a little bit about that. And then how did you even get interested in starting CrossFit? Because that is not something that I do. Just to be sure that people know, I'm not a CrossFit person, but I love hearing about it because so many of my friends are, and they love it. So tell me about it.
Love it. Well, yes, again, I'm Ashley, and I'm married to a wonderful man named Daniel. He runs his own construction company called Reliable Restoration. And I have 3 beautiful children, a 10-year-old named Asa, an 8-year-old named Selah, and a 7-year-old named Levi. He was our special little surprise at the end. So 3 kids that keep me very, very busy. And another reason why it's so important that living a healthy life is a priority so that I have energy to keep up with them, because that was definitely a struggle in the beginning years, and especially when my health wasn't so great. So like Julie said, I met her 5 years ago, and that was kind of the beginning of my health journey. And it was scary and intimidating. So I have a very similar passion, and that I love to help people, and I want anybody to find that path. And that does not have to be CrossFit. It just happens to be what worked for me. But the things I learned in that journey is that you can come alongside anybody and empower them. So whatever that tool is, whether it's CrossFit or Zumba, just being active, walking outside, that's the message I want to share with my friends and anybody, and especially my children. So I have been overweight and struggled with my health since I was 9 years old. I'm 33 now, but since 9 years old, I remember not being able to fit into my clothes, being uncomfortable. And my parents were always very loving. And I can't imagine being in their shoes back then, because I think back and I wonder, could I have changed anything? But telling your kid that they, can't have another piece of bread, or trying to limit them at 9 years old, is a struggle that no parent wants to deal with. And even now I have some of those with my own kids, but I just try to put all the best options in front of them as possible. So my youngest asks for carrots and bell peppers now, and I mean, he'll still eat an Oreo, but it's all about balance. So anyway, been overweight, struggled, pretty obese, and at my heaviest by 15, 16 years old was pushing about 250. And then by the time I had
children, are very tall. You are very tall.
I am a very tall person, so sometimes people don't believe me. But I, at my heaviest, was over 300 pounds.
Oh and my goodness, so I didn't realize. Yeah.
Now, when I met you, I was probably 270, because I was definitely incorporating a lot of stuff into my life at that point. And I was about 270 when I started CrossFit, but I knew how to eat well. I knew my mom taught me how to eat well. So it wasn't always about what you fueled with. It was also how active you were and what you were doing. So I was basically trapped at the point that I had 3 kids, and all of them were in diapers at one point. Those were the dark times. And
Hey, it's just life. Life happens,
yeah,
right?
before I got pregnant at all, I mean, I got married and I was like, I'm going to start running. And I got married and pregnant right away. So everyone was like, don't run. Now, like looking back at that, I would encourage any pregnant woman, if they don't have any restrictions, to stay active. And I wasn't. I just was like, I want it, I eat it, I sit on the couch. I was also sick
and
too.
just to clarify that, if you're already active, then you should stay active.
Yes,
if you've
100%.
never exercised and you've only sat, you probably shouldn't start a regular exercise routine unless it's very subtle and low impact if you're pregnant.
Exactly.
So definitely check with your doctor about that plan.
100%. But I wish I would have taken more walks. I wish I would have just been a little bit more comfortable, but so much of that had to do with my joints and my body carrying so much weight to begin with. So we added more weight. And I remember crying before my prenatal checkups and arguing with the nurse about stepping on the scale almost every single time. I had one nurse that made me cry every single time. Now, again, if I look back, I just laugh and be like, I have a healthy baby. If I knew that I would be able to get to where I am now, I probably wouldn't be so upset about it. But I was at my lowest point when I saw one of my very dear friends. Her name was Paula Gamble. She was performing a workout 9 months pregnant. So it's funny that I had just had all my kids and been through those difficulties in pregnancy. And I was looking at this woman who was performing something called Fran. That's the name of a workout. It's a benchmark workout. If I use any CrossFit words that sound funny, you can ask me.
Okay.
I was going to say WOD. WOD means workout of the day.
Yes.
And she was performing pull-ups and thrusters and all these movements on tape. And it was remarkable, which is why I saw it on Facebook. So that was kind of the triggering point for me, where I was like, what is my excuse? I mean, she was already a fit person, but she was doing this pregnant. And I was just beyond inspired and thinking to myself, like, it's now or never. Like, you need to make a step. You need to just do something, even though you are more overwhelmed than you've ever been. You have 3 children and you have so much going on. You just need to make a step. So
what I really admire about that is that you did not let your children become your excuse. You really kind of turned them into your reason.
They did.
Right?
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But I also felt like I thought back to my single days and how I couldn't even get in shape then. And now I had the same struggles. And now it was actually postpartum difficulties that I never had when I was single. I was thinking, this is harder than it's ever been. And now is the time that you have to do something. You have to do something big. You can't keep, because we all talk about making healthier decisions and then we don't do anything. Well, I did that for years. So it was a huge, scary step for me to just Google CrossFit and just see what was in the area. And I called.
So then you just showed up one day and you started.
I showed up. I said, hey, can I come in and get a tour? And can you talk to me about like what my options are? And I mean, I probably gave a 15-minute dissertation on how out of shape I was to the manager, but like that now, again, that's what I look back at. But what's so amazing is now that I am a coach and I'm where I am, I see people come in all the time that are in a place that I was, but they're still never as bad as I was. Does that make sense?
Right.
I still have never trained somebody who was as overweight or out of shape as I was when I walked in, which gives me so much faith in that person. The minute they walk in, I'm like, oh my gosh, you can do anything.
Right. We've got this.
You can do anything. So over the course of time, like, not to make it too long of a story, but I walked in there, I was overwhelmed, intimidated. I'm sure everybody has this moment when they walk into a gym, which I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling when I walk even into a conventional gym and I'm just like lost. I sometimes don't even know what to do.
Right.
But the people came alongside me. The coach at the time, he looked at me and he immediately had that faith for me that I didn't have for myself.
Right.
And I had no idea what I was going to get into. I didn't know I was going to be able to walk the rest of the week. I thought something was wrong with me from doing squats. Okay. I have lots of fun stories. That's why I was almost like hesitant when you asked me to talk about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could talk about this for hours. So you might have to just, make sure I stay on the right subject. But one of the things that he said to me, he said many things to me, but one of the first things he said to me was, and this is just a different form of believing in whoever it is that you're coaching. He goes, Ashley, one day you are going to walk into a room and people are going to be intimidated by you. And I was like, now, not that that's not my goal in life.
Right.
But I laughed so hard.
Yeah. You were like, I don't think so. But now
he's like, one day you're going to be lifting that. And he pointed over the corner. Right. And I was like, I don't know why you believe in me. You're crazy.
But okay. So when we first turned on the camera today, what was my first reaction was, oh my gosh, look at your arms. Because
I'm like,
they are like rocking arms, and
thank you.
Super impressive. And you've come a long way. And so, CrossFit is a whole different type of workout than like Zumba, because we dance. We're not lifting weights. We're not jumping up on boxes. We're not throwing ropes around. We're not, doing these very, very challenging muscle things,
I love your version of it. I wish you'd come to it. I think that you need to come to an 8 a.m. class.
I don't know what it is. So it's just stuff that doesn't interest me. But tell me, in your opinion, as a coach now, because you do see people from all different walks of life, all different fitness levels, who is CrossFit for?
You really want to hear?
Everyone, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
Okay.
It is functional fitness. And even though you're describing some things that sound like crazy, like let's say climbing a rope or flipping tires or jumping on boxes, I'll tell you right now, nobody has to flip a tire. Those are things that usually take place on Saturdays, by the way, because they're fun workouts.
Right.
Nobody has to jump on a box. Now, stepping on a box is a wonderful functional movement. Sure, think about the stairs that you climb. So
yeah, there's all kinds.
It's amazing. And I encourage more people as a coach. I'm more of a safe one. I'd rather you step on the box. You will get a great workout. You can work with the height of the box. You can add weight on your shoulders. You can make it lower, closer to more like a stair step. So, I mean, we have a lady who's over 70 years old and she has Parkinson's. Her name is Lane. And the second time I walked into the gym, we were doing bench press and she was doing bench and we were sharing the bar. And I was like, I got this. I'm a big girl. I got this. I went underneath the bench and I could not bench 55 pounds. And that wonderful woman outbenched me by 35 pounds.
So anybody can do it.
That's a story I love to tell people all the time. If you ever see her out and about, or if she comes to the gym, I said, that lady outbenched me my second day at CrossFit, and I will never forget it.
Well, and two, she was probably using proper form, because this is something that I want to make sure we talk about. And we've already gone 12 minutes. So just so you know, we are on, I mean, it goes by so quickly. When CrossFit started becoming so popular, I have a lot of friends who are in the physical therapy area of health services, and they said CrossFit was a huge boon to physical therapy, because so many people get into, they're not necessarily even competing against the other people in the gym, but they're competing with themselves, and they go too fast.
Yes.
And they go too hard, and they go too heavy, and they're not using proper form. And so it really causes a lot of injuries. Now, that can happen in any sport, in any workout, anywhere. But for some reason, CrossFit seems to be a little more, I don't know, open to that competition thinking.
I agree with you.
And so if somebody goes in and they're doing CrossFit, there's always someone there to help them do the proper form, right? And so they don't have to worry about it, as long as they stay in the right mind space for doing the proper form.
Some people are at higher risk for injuring themselves. Can I say this without offending anyone, that most of the time, my difficult people are men, because they don't listen to me when I say lift less, or you really shouldn't perform that movement because you need to get your squat
Right.
better. Like
Yeah.
so there's a reason why there's a coach there. Now, not everybody wants to listen. And a lot of these people that do injure themselves were told to not attempt something. Now, the same thing that motivates us, that fire to push and go faster, is the same thing that can hurt us. And
Right.
so I mean, and it's happened to me too. I, thank God, have not had any major injuries at all. But anytime if I have hurt myself, I knew why and what I shouldn't have done. And so everything's a learning opportunity. But for the most part, things that I do in the gym only strengthen me outside of the gym.
So my thinking about CrossFit is it's a lot of the movements that we were doing many, many years ago. Like when people were working in the fields, when, they were having to go out and find food and harvest and, do things from scratch and really use manual labor. It's the same types of mechanics and motions. It's just possibly using slightly different tools, but not necessarily. It's boxes, it's heavy things, it's a rope, it's, so it's just putting it together, as you said, the workout of the day, the WOD, which I have heard that term before. And it changes, right? So every day you're working on different groups of muscles, and people don't necessarily go every single day. So what would you say is the best frequency for people to go if they're just starting out?
I'm not going to answer a question with a question, but I do want to know your opinion of how often you would recommend someone being active through the week. I personally think we should at least hit 4 to 5 days a week. That does not mean that you're lifting every day. That's something I wanted to, it's a common misconception with CrossFit. Constantly varied functional fitness. Those are the words I like to use. We are not lifting heavy every day. So for example, today I only ran. That was the workout. The workout was 12 200-meter sprints, and you rested while the other person went. And that's a form of interval training. That is definitely not one of my favorite things to do. I did it at 5 a.m. this morning with a wonderful person that motivated me. And that was the fun part of it, was that there was somebody with me who was also like struggling to some degree, but like we were doing it together, and we had our chips and we kept track of our rounds. And at the end of the day, somebody was like, hey, do you want to do a quick core session before we go? And we did. And then that was it. But that's all I did, was pretty much run today, which is not like throwing weights around and stuff. So I do, and some workouts are 5 minutes long and sometimes they're 15 minutes long. So I like that there's a different tax on the body throughout the week, but it's definitely not just like, lifting weights and all that kind of stuff all the time.
That's great. That's great. And so in the last 3 minutes of our conversation, how would you say that CrossFit has impacted your life in other areas? And how do you think it has impacted your children?
Well, I can't wait to see it further impact them as they get older, because they already want to come to the gym all the time. And for one, definitely the way I look at life, the CrossFit was just a milestone because I didn't think I could ever do it. And I know a lot of people that probably think that in this conversation. And that's the one thing I want to get clear, is that anybody can do it. But that trend continued throughout my journey. Every time I said I couldn't do something, I could do it. I told my coach I couldn't climb a rope. She goes, yes, you can. I told my coach I couldn't jump on a 30-inch box. I did. And every single time I tore down one of those lies, it just made me think about the rest of my life. And how many other things I have limited myself in. So I just feel like it empowered me to believe that you can do anything you set your mind to. Now, it's going to take a lot of work sometimes.
Well, you have to take those little steps. You can't just wake up one day and say, well, I'm going to go do that today, because you don't have the tools in place. You haven't worked up those muscles yet. Yeah.
But if anybody comes to me and says that they want to accomplish something, even outside of CrossFit, my mindset has completely changed. That's like probably the biggest point. And as far as my children go, I cannot wait to have them do more with me at the gym, because they see like I've got energy and I want to do things and I want to go places. And I mean, whether it's carrying groceries in, and I mean, we have a little inside joke at my house that whenever we can't find the remote or someone has to get up from the couch, I jump up as fast as I can and I go, don't worry, I CrossFit. That's my favorite joke in the house.
That's great. Well, and you said that everybody can do CrossFit, and I say everybody can do Zumba because
Mhm.
literally it's just do what you can do
Yep.
and you keep going. And the more comfortable you get with how it works and you get your mindset into, I can do this, then
Mhm.
you're going to be more open to learning the proper format, the proper steps, the everything.
Yep.
But as you and I both know, we tell people all the time, what is the very best form of exercise? It's the one you will do. So
Yes.
if you told me today that the best exercise for me is CrossFit, I'd be like, well, game
Oh,
over.
well,
I'm done because I'm not going to go do that today. But
no.
I'm going to go dance and I'm going to play tennis and I'm going to take walks through my neighborhood and I'm going to, I'm going to do some bar workouts. I'm going to do those things that move me. You have this great opportunity because CrossFit is so different every day and so many different things that you're doing that, and you have that community too within that group. And you have those supporters, the cheerleaders, the coaches. And so I love that. But I'm
Yeah.
hoping somebody watching this will be inspired to go find whatever it is that
Yep.
moves you and makes you move. And
Yes.
and that really being a healthy mom of young children is really important. And
Hmm.
we are, our DNA is not our destiny. We can make really good lifestyle choices that will help us have healthier lives. And moving and eating properly and drinking good water and all of those things really
So
do
many things.
really, really are important while we're in these little meat suits walking around,
Just do the
So
best we can.
we do the best we can. And
Hmm.
thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your story. And I will put some contact information in the text that goes along with this video so that if somebody wants to reach out to you personally, they will know how to do that.
Awesome. Well, it's
Thank
been
you
a
so
pleasure.
much, Ashley.
Thank you.